Hey everybody, Jessica Morrison here with Ferris Property Group. We are back for another builder interview. I have the fabulous Vivian Burness with Arbor Homes here with us today to tell us all about this awesome community in McCordsville. Vivian, how are you?
Hello.
And who are we talking about today?
I'm doing great. So we are located in McCordsville, and we're called Meadows at Sagebrook. So our homes start in the 230s. We have various different floor plans, anything from ranch to masters on the main level, 2 stories, and just regular 2 stories. And then we have bedrooms ranging from 3 bedrooms all the way up to 6.
Okay. Now, what would you say, help us visualize the community size? Do you know how many home sites you guys have in this particular community?
Yeah, so we have right around, I'd say 135, 140 home sites. We're actually moving across the street. So our models are still located in our original community, Sagebrook.
Hmm.
And so we are just closing out of that community and moving across the street. There's probably about, I'd say we are into about 20 home sites already that have been sold. So we're moving pretty fast along. We have a VIP list for the remaining home sites available as well.
So, what would you say is the percentage, just to give those watching, um, what percentage of the neighborhood has been completed versus what's left?
I would say we are, so we actually haven't even started building in the first section yet. We've already sold out of the first section. But as far as what's already sold, I would say we are about 20% completed. And then we have a waiting list, but there's about 20, 25 people on the waiting list and 110 home sites in the second section, the new section. So we still have plenty of availability there.
Yeah, that's great. So, when did you guys start building, and when is that new section going to become available?
So in Meadows at Sagebrook, we started building in November. Was if we started opening up the home sites in November. We've been developing for probably a little bit over a year. And so now we've got the new section coming on board. We've finished developing the first section. So we're actually going to be starting on homes within the next 30 days, probably in that first section. And then they're just completing development for the second section, and we should be starting on those homes pretty soon as well.
That makes a lot of sense. And I would love to get kind of your feedback on how you're seeing the market movement for your community. I know in pre-existing sales, homes are flying off the shelf before we can even get them listed, it feels like.
Yes.
So, what's your experience been recently on the new construction side of things?
We have been extremely busy. We have a ton of clients that come in that have put in many offers to homes, and they've been extremely frustrated with the process. Or even they find the home that they love and then find out that there's things about the house that they don't love. And we have a unique situation here where everyone can come in and get exactly what they want and the budget that they want, and it's brand new. So a lot of people have been moving more towards building just for the simple fact that it's more convenient. It does take a lot longer for them to get the finished result, but it's everything that they want. They don't have to worry about being disappointed.
Yeah, I think just realtors speak of advice here. For those watching, definitely pre-existing has its merits, but I highly question when you start to get into a bidding war and you're paying well above the average for the neighborhood, or you're pricing yourself out of the neighborhood, getting into an as-is situation, and then being willing to pay the difference should the property not appraise. That's a ton of risk that you're taking on as a buyer. So highly consider partnering with a realtor in new construction because from what I've seen, prices are obviously continuing to go up as more homes sell, but you guys as builders are facing lumber lumber as the price has tripled, and general material costs, labor's just incredibly difficult. So I've been encouraging people. I never want to come off as like a salesperson. Like, even though I am a salesperson, that's the last thing that I feel like I am. I just want to help people.
Totally get that. Yeah, same here.
But like, if you are even remotely thinking about building, please get in as soon as you can before these massive price increases start to really hit our Indianapolis market. And I'm kind of taking it off the side a little bit, but I'm not surprised at all to hear that you've already sold out of one section and you're looking at another. Do you have any restrictions on who can purchase in your community? Like, does it have to be owner occupied buyers, or can property management companies come in and build something there too?
So it is just those who are looking to own a home. We don't really sell to any investors or anything like that. So the person who signs the contract has the intention of actually owning that home and living there at the time.
Yeah, that's really important, because if your local municipality doesn't have restrictions around that, or if the builder isn't cognizant of that, we actually have a neighborhood on the south side that didn't have any protections in place for consumers, and a property management company has supposedly bought up all of the lots, and
Oh, wow.
like, they're not even listed yet, but they're gone. So well, tell us a bit more about this community. Are there any amenities, or, is it just a standard, when you pay your HOA, there's snow removal and the common areas, or what else included with that?
Yeah, so the HOA is 500, and basically what that gets you is the maintenance of all of the green spaces, and then we also have a couple of ponds areas. There's going to be a fishing structure for those who like to fish, and there'll be 2 playgrounds and a little picnic area as well.
Excellent. And how many acres, again, just to help visualize, because we don't have a visual for the moment. So where is this community located in McCordsville? And then how many acres is it?
I'm not sure on the acreage. It's located off of 600 though. So it's pretty close to like Pendleton Pike area, as well as the Fishers, like Oleo area as well.
In which school district?
It's Mount Vernon.
Okay, that makes sense. So walk us through a bit about Arbor Homes and what makes you guys special or different compared to others in the Northeast area, because there's quite a bit of new construction going on in the Fortville and McCordsville area.
Yeah, Arbor Homes is just a really great company because we work really well with first-time home buyers, which is a huge group of who we typically see, but also those who are looking to purchase their second home as well. We just have really great programs involved for our mortgage company, Silverton Mortgage, that allows our buyers to actually get started with the process with $500 earnest money, then also $2,500 towards closing costs. Also, we work on live pricing. So a lot of our prices are going to be the best that they absolutely can be for the moment. And you'll never, once you sign the contract, you're never going to get a lower price. Your neighbor's never going to have a lower price than you. So we don't do a ton of, cutting back on pricing for certain people, and then offering certain people discounts and things like that. We just try to have the best price overall, and I think that really helps for the home to be more affordable, because you're able to just get all of the items that you need in the home without having to worry about feeling like you're not getting the best deal.
Look at me, I'm talking while I'm muted. So that makes sense. Does this community have basements available?
Yes.
Okay, so that's excellent. For those watching, I feel like it's a needle in the haystack anymore to find options with basements or at a price point. Like, again, what's this price range we're talking about?
230s.
Yeah, guys, that's unheard of right now. Take advantage of it, please. Like, if you're thinking about building, please build a ranch with a basement, because Lord knows we cannot find them in this market. So, and if you're thinking of building, like, just remember again, this community doesn't let people build who aren't going to live there. So you have some protections around, theoretically anyway, the quality of your community. So okay, well, how long has Arbor Homes been in business, and kind of what's the backstory there? Because I don't want to assume that our audience is entirely familiar with you.
Yeah, so Arbor's been around since 1993, and it's a family-owned company. They have always been local, even though just recently we have started to branch out at a couple of different states. I believe we're in Ohio and Kentucky currently. So they have just had a really great relationship with all of their tradesmen, and I think that that's why we've always been able to be so competitive in our pricing and things like that, because they've always been really consistent and just been very reliable when it comes to just building those relationships with all of our different trade partners.
That makes total sense. And I'd like for you to kind of speak into the pricing and relationships aspect, because I think that there is possibly an incorrect association with price and quality of construction.
Yes.
I think typically people feel like, oh, well, if this builder is building it at this price and this one's doing it for $70,000 less, then there's got to be cutting of corners somewhere. So can you speak into the quality of craftsmanship for a little bit?
Yes, our company hasn't had any major structural defects, and we offer a wide range of warranties. We also have a fantastic homeowner warranty team. So instead of it just being, one guy that's burnt out and going around and getting things handled, we actually have a full customer service line that you're able to reach out to if there's anything structurally wrong with the home. But for the most part, we have a lot of happy customers that come in and get exactly what they want. They do beautiful work. We're also a stick built company. So that really helps too in making sure that, we can make adjustments to the home, whether that be extending a wall. We offer 2-foot bumps to the rear and the sides of the home as well. So just having that stick built quality, I feel like is a lot better for making those minor adjustments that need to be made, instead of it kind of being just retrofitted and not having the ability to kind of come in and adjust things as plans move forward.
Yeah, so that's actually a great point. Do you guys allow customizations of the floor plans, or is what someone sees what they get?
Yes, we do allow customizations. So typically the way that that works is if there's something like you want to knock out a wall or you want to add, certain features to the home, we would actually just have like a request filled out. It's called a custom request form. We'd send that to our architects and they actually will take a look at it, see if it's something that's possible. And if it is, then we would let you know what that cost would be like, and then you make the decision if that's something you'd like to do moving forward.
That's awesome. Now, do you guys offer for like credits for things that buyers don't use? Like, for example, say someone like hardwood comes standard in a particular area, but someone wants carpet and therefore it's less expensive to do that. Do you guys do any types of credits or no?
Yeah, so anything like appliance wise, we offer credit for. So you'd have your black and white appliances that come standard. If for some reason they'd rather, bring their own appliances, we can take that away and they would offer a credit. Also, we would do kind of more of a price adjustment for flooring. So if you like decide there's a certain specific area that has carpet and you're wanting to do hard surface, then there's like an overall price for that carpet. That would be that carpet would then be deducted and then replaced with the pricing for the hard surface flooring in that area.
Yep, and that's awesome. And that adds up so fast, guys. Like, just comparing apples to oranges. Not every builder is going to do that. So when you can find ones that do, it's very sensitive to your budget or friendly to your budget in that sense. So let's talk a bit about like your warranty coverage. What can people expect? I mean, most builders offer a 2, 5, and 10-year warranty. What does that look like with Arbor?
So we have a 1-year bumper to bumper warranty that basically covers any of the workmanship. And then I believe we have a 2-year warranty that covers anything mechanical, a 5-year warranty that would cover your structural, like roofing and things like that, and then a 10-year major structural warranty.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you more of a personal or direct question now. What made you as a sales representative choose to partner with Arbor Homes over some other builders in the community?
I've heard great things about Arbor. I think that they take really, really good care of their employees. It's a very open relationship, I feel like, with every associate here. I feel like I can go to anyone and ask for assistance, and they're always just open to that. Also, our superintendents are fantastic. And I've been with other builders where they're just very overworked and unhappy. And every superintendent that I speak with here is just very happy. And, I feel like that is one of the biggest things that a builder should focus on, is making sure that their supers are happy. And just the overall management team are all the way up from our CEO, president, to just my direct managers. They're all fantastic as well.
Sure. And that makes a lot of sense. I think right now, like the market's busy or I feel like, unfortunately, you're one of two types of people right now. And I say this gently with great sensitivity, but I feel like you're either incredibly busy or you're trying to find a job, or like you're kind of one or the other. And if anyone is watching this and they need to get connected with employment, please feel free to reach out to me or Vivian. We have massive networks that, our industries are actively looking to hire people. So we can help get you on a path to hopefully peace and some stability in your family. But that being said, I think it's more important now than ever for employers to keep their people happy, because I don't even know what the cost of quantifying losing someone right now is. Like, there's just a lot of demand for good people.
Yes.
So let's talk a bit about the building process. For those who have never built a home before with Arbor, let's say that they drove through the community, they fell in love. What does their next step look like?
So currently, since we are on a waiting list, you're looking at a $500 check that would hold your spot in line. And then basically right now, like if you were to drop one off today, you'd be looking to start the process in May. Once that process actually starts, you could either use that check as your earnest money if you're going to choose Silverton Mortgage as your lender. And then we would sign the contract, pick your home site. And then in between that time that you drop your check off and the time that your spot's up in line, we have the ability to sit down and pick out your floor plan and go through pricing options with you, and kind of just build the home out as close to what it would cost as possible.
Okay. And how long go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, after that, when we actually sign the contract, then you're just looking at about a 6-month process from beginning to end. So that starts with you going to your colors appointment, where since Arbor is very customizable as far as like picking your flooring, your cabinet colors, ceiling height, different configurations with the bathrooms, all those different items are offered. So you actually go to an appointment where you spend a few hours with one of our designers, and they'll help you pick out those options. And then we will pull permits from there. And then there's about 3 different meetings that you'll go to throughout the process to make sure that things are looking the way that you're wanting them to look and that everything is in the right place.
Sure. So over that 6-month period, let's say someone drove through today, they put their $500 down. And then what would be the waiting period? Is that waiting period from contract to meeting just when they choose to decide, or because there's a wait list? Well, you said May, so
Yes.
that's what, 2 months out?
Yes.
Okay, so is that, I want to clarify this for those watching. So if someone were to put a deposit down, is there a 2-month wait period, or is that just because of when, like, your current turnaround time for starting homes? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. So there's basically a 2-month waiting period right now, because there's already people ahead of them on the list that are going to start their homes first. So once we actually get to their point on the list, which is typically going to be around May right now, then that's when we would get everything started with the process. So technically the entire process right now is about 8 months.
Okay, so that's important. And that would make sense why a wait list is called a wait list. It's just always good to ultra clarify
Yes.
so that you set correct expectations. So for those of you watching this, if you're thinking about building, your completion date would put us at about the October timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny for some people to think about now. For those who might not be able to wait that long, say they've got cabin fever, they need more space ASAP. Do you guys have any spec homes coming up?
We do. And it's kind of hard to come by because every time we get one started, they sell out so fast. But I believe we have 2 available currently. We are going to have some more coming on board. And the 2 that are available are outside of this community, but they're within Arbor. And then we should be actually starting on a few spec homes here within the next few months. That will probably, I think we're doing 2 or 3 in Meadows at Sagebrook. So typically as soon as we get them out and started, they sell out really quickly. There's always other options, and you can always build as well.
I feel like right now it's so much like, again, like I'm a realtor, so I'm going to sound like I'm tooting our own horn here for a second, but this is a really good example from the buyer perspective of why you want to partner with a realtor, because we have these relationships with sales reps to where we can find inventory that's not yet available or listed or coming up. Like I had clients that were able to tour a community. We found out through the sales rep that that model home was becoming available that weekend. So it was not public knowledge yet or advertised, and we were able to get that under contract essentially before that listing really went live. So yes. Definitely partner with a realtor. So, you know, like if anything else, in this context of the conversation, one thing that I love about new construction, Vivian, is just how much people have the security. And you kind of alluded to this earlier. You're not getting into a bidding war. You're getting a brand new house at the end of the day. And really the only thing that you're sacrificing on is that wait time. Would you say that that's consistent with other conversations you've had?
Yeah, absolutely. And then along with that, the equity that you receive in the home, just within that time that you've been waiting. I mean, we take in price increases almost every month. So, you know, by the time you move in, you've already had built-in equity within your home.
And again, it's brand new. So there's something to be said for that. Okay, so 10-month period, you alluded to a couple of different meetings throughout that. Again, I just want to be super thorough for those who have not built with you before. What are those meetings and why should people attend them?
Sure. So you have your colors meeting, and that's the most important because you're basically going from front to back, up, down of the house, going through and picking all of the different options. So all your structural options, whether you're looking for vaulted ceilings, 9-foot ceilings, tray ceilings, you're picking all of your different cabinet colors. And then there's all these different levels and things. And then there's, you know, your countertops, flooring, all of that is done at their colors appointment. And then once that's complete, is when we would pull permits. Once your permits are back, which typically takes about a month to a month and a half, then we're sitting down with your superintendent. And that's when you guys will meet and go over your blueprints for the house. Make sure all your electrical is in the right place, because you'll be able to, at your colors appointment, also choose where you would like your lighting to be, how many lights you'd like, where any additional outlets, all of those different things are up to you, how you decide to do that. So you're really just going over that at your pre-construction meeting to make sure that they haven't missed anything. And that's typically done at the model. And then your next appointment would be the pre-drywall. And that's when you're actually at your house. They're done framing and they've got all of the electrical and mechanicals up. You're walking through the home and your superintendent's showing you how things are kind of laid out in the home electrical wise, then also double checking to make sure your lights are placed in the right location. You have all your outlets and everything like that again. So you have a lot of checkpoints to make sure that your house is looking the way that it's supposed to look. And then we have our orientation meeting. And that's the time where you're getting together with your super and they're kind of just introducing you to the house, and you're going through and making sure everything's working properly. They're showing you all of the emergency valves and who do you need to call if there's ever like a situation with your furnace or your plumbing or anything like that. They're going over the warranties, additional warranties with you, because along with what Arbor offers you, we also have warranties on a lot of the items inside of your home, like your windows and your appliances and things like that. So they're taking time to go over that, and then also making sure that you're happy with the workmanship of the house as well. So you're going through the home. They already have blue tape up for making adjustments and making sure that they're correcting any nicks in the walls and things like that. And if you happen to spot anything along the way, then they'll make sure to get that taken care of before closing. And then closing is the final stage where you're going in and signing everything and getting your final deposit down and getting the keys to your new place.
I'm over here slightly laughing because I had one walkthrough a couple of years ago where we walked through and they hadn't had a chance to do the cleaning yet. So there was, a little bit of paint dribbles on the tile and a couple spots on the carpet, even because of the ceiling work and whatnot. And I ended up making it kind of like a game for my audience on social media where we put blue tape down everywhere. And I was like, in this shot, can you guess how many pieces of blue tape there are? It was pretty funny, but
yeah. It's like it's polka dots everywhere.
Yeah, but that's not like to nick or like give the contractors a hard time. I mean, there's a designated time where that property gets cleaned and everything gets spruced up, but sometimes it's just helpful for those who are ultra detail oriented to make sure that you communicate effectively. So
yeah,
what would you
absolutely.
say is the most overlooked part of the build process that buyers need to pay more attention to?
I would say just making sure that they are getting everything that they want in the home. I think it's really important to kind of go through all of your options, especially like at our initial meeting when I'm able to build the house out for them. If there's anything that they are kind of wanting to add or take away, they're actually able to do that even after signing the contract all the way until their colors appointment. And so I think just being thorough with making sure that you're happy with the overall home, thinking about how things will look, visiting the models and stuff like that, just so that you are happy with everything and you're not regretting, not getting that 9-foot ceiling or the additional garage, and just kind of planning out, really thinking about how you're going to live in that space.
Yes, there's a saying in real estate, buyers buy what they see, not what it can be. And that's not to be derogatory, but sometimes it's just very hard to visualize, especially when you're not walking through houses. And yes, HGTV will kind of give you a glimpse of what things could be from a demo perspective, but sometimes it's just hard to visualize on a blank piece of ground. Like, where's your property going to sit? How much backyard do you actually have because of a drainage easement? Where's the fence going to go? And it's just a lot to take in that I think a lot of times people try to solve everything in maybe even one or two appointments. And there's a lot to think about.
Yes.
So it's on one hand, like it's good to take action and get something locked in. But my experience has been you need to have the major items picked out up front so that structurally when you guys are pulling permits that everything's approved, because then when you get down to the blueprint meeting, a lot of times the builders aren't able to change things by that point. Is that the case with Arbor, or are you guys more flexible?
We are a little bit more flexible. So at contract, you're not locked into any of your options. You're actually just basically locking in the option pricing and the base pricing. So you have all the way until your appointment with your colors and your designer to make any type of changes you want, whether that's structural, even if you would like to change your floor plan, if that happens sometimes, location of the lot, like all of those options are still available because we actually don't start pulling permits until after the colors appointment. So that's why there's a little bit of a fee involved if for some reason you finish your appointment and then you're like, oh, I really want to add something else that I didn't think I could do, or thought I'd have, I might have more money to do that now, or whatever the case may be. We still can make changes. It's just a little bit harder after that point because we've already started with the permit process.
Okay, that makes sense. So kind of trying to be sensitive to your time here. What would you say are some tips that buyers need to consider? Like, let's say they are driving through and they're definitely on board with new construction for the security of knowing where they're going to go. But what would make them choose Arbor Homes over a different community? And then kind of with that question, what are some tips that you have for them or questions to ask when they're comparing different communities?
So just Arbor Homes, I feel like we're really transparent in our pricing. We're going to give you the best deal possible from the very beginning. We're not going to have this weird negotiation period where, you're trying to beat your neighbor's pricing and all of that kind of stuff. So we don't have any kind of like specials or things like that we offer because and I think that just makes it more personalized. And I feel like, as someone who also likes to shop and things like that, it's easier and less intense to go in knowing that the price is the price and you don't feel like you have to constantly battle or like, play little games to get the price down lower or anything like that. So I think that that's super helpful because removing that at the very beginning can really just help you focus on what's going to be the best fit for you and what your budget's going to look like and things like that. And just like tips for coming in, I'd say it helps if you kind of have an idea of what you're looking for online, but it's totally okay we have a ton of people that come in that have never stepped foot in a builder model before. So, that's kind of what we're here to do is help with kind of whatever stage you are at in looking for a home. And we really just have a lot of different tools that can help you make decisions, understand where you are financially. We've got a great mortgage company that we can get you in touch with as well that can help them kind of get an early understanding of where they stand budget-wise as well. And then we've got tools to be able to price out the home and things like that to make them more clear to what that looks like.
Sure, that makes sense. Do you think that there's, shoot, I had my question and then it walked away and it's coming back, but for the moment, yes. So on the discussion of pricing, I think that yes, there's definitely particular builders who, you can negotiate, and also pre-COVID, very, very different market where there was a bit more flexibility on price. Right now, builders have all of the leverage, so they're not likely to really want to negotiate. What's kind of been your experience with pricing in terms of the upcoming cost corrections or increases due to materials and labor and all of that stuff? Like, has that really hit you guys as a builder yet, or do you think that it's still coming?
So I think it's definitely hit. We have had a significant price increase at Meadows at Sagebrook since we've opened in November. And we've had a conversation with our VP about it. Just as salespeople, we don't love price increases. We love for the price to just stay the same. But of course, like I said, the company is really great at being transparent. So they talk to us about where they're coming from and the why behind that, which I think is helpful for us as well, because it's not coming from a place of greed necessarily. It's more of like, hey, lumber has increased and, it's harder to get, certain items right now. And, just with all the things going on with COVID, the weather, it's really put a big impact on the pricing of just building a house in general. I mean, even down to concrete. So we've definitely been affected by that, which I think is why it's important to, if you're thinking about building, to get on that list. Being on the VIP list doesn't necessarily protect you from those price increases, but once you're locked in via contract, then you don't have to worry about ever that price like impacting you at all. So the earlier you are on the list, then the quicker you can get in a contract and the less likely you are to face some of the future increases that are coming.
Yeah. And again, it is a wait list. So just because you're ready to sign a contract right now doesn't mean you get to sidestep everybody who's in front of you. I mean, so I think too, I want to speak into kind of the urgency that you were talking about a second ago, in that, like, sometimes I think people walk through models and some sales reps do come off this way, or this is their intent because you guys are representing the builder. But I think sometimes there is a pressure that gets put on people. Like, if you want this lot, I'm going to sell it tomorrow because I've got 3 other people interested. So can you kind of speak into that? Like, when a sales rep tells that to a client, is that really the case? Are they blowing smoke? What's the heart generally behind that?
Honestly, it absolutely is that way, especially with Arbor Homes. Like every single one of our communities almost in Indianapolis are on a wait list right now. But even before that, the amount of people looking for a new home is crazy right now. We had one of our biggest years ever in 2020. And so the other thing is that we as sales managers are actually able to sell in any community. So that opens up a huge, huge, door for anyone at any moment taking any lot. And unfortunately, it has happened multiple times, even within the last couple of weeks, where, someone's interested in a lot or they're interested in a floor plan. They want to think about it. And I totally understand that. But then they come back and the lot's gone. And it's not even one of our people from Meadows. It's someone else's client from one of our other communities that, they've been talking to their sales manager about, coming over here and getting that lot. So, I mean, even when we think everything's fine and they can come back tomorrow, someone could write that night. So it's never really safe. We do lot holds. So that can be helpful, just very short term. But for the most part, it's just kind of first come, first serve.
Yeah. And especially in this market where there's nothing available, you got to be sensitive to that. But I also want to speak into those who might be selling, want to downsize, but don't want to pay out the nose for something because, it feels like the market's a bit inflated. Do you think that that's the case, that we're looking at a bubble with real estate right now?
I don't know. I think It's going to be this way for a while because I think that it has a lot to do with just the inventory that is around Indianapolis. Um, so I think it's not necessarily that like we're going to have this big bubble, it's going to pop, because we just don't, we're just running out of like homes. So I think maybe the more we build, at some point we might be able to like even out the demand. But for right now, it's just really hard to find a home to even purchase. And I think there are a lot of people, it's definitely a seller's market. So there's a lot of people who are eager to sell, but then on the other end, it's probably hard for them to find somewhere else to go since everyone else is looking. And there's just the inventory is at an all-time low for this market.
Yep. And I think the discussions that I've had around that are thinking, oh, this is just like what it was in 2005. And, there's going to be this massive foreclosure crisis, and that's going to cause, home prices to go down. And then I'll have more pick of the litter. And there are so many thoughts around that, but this is not 2005. And a big facilitator for that was because lenders were giving out loans if anybody was breathing, basically.
Right.
And the lending restrictions now are so tight that the government is actually having to kind of strong arm some of these bigger banks like Chase and Wells Fargo to ease up on what's considered a more affordable loan, or being a little bit less aggressive with their conservative nature, because a 760 is not going to get most people into an FHA product. Like, I mean, it will, but like for the buyers that we're trying to help get it into affordable housing, you need to be more accommodating with the lower credit scores. So it's an interesting discussion right now. And the seizing of the market in terms of lending is a good thing, in the sense that we're trying to prevent another 2008. But the demand that Vivian is speaking into, why things are so crazy, is because people are holding out on selling. And if you are a seller, please feel free to connect with me. There's no obligation. Happy to give you some estimates on your home and kind of help you talk through the different options. But just know that you as a seller have a ton of leverage right now. And I think that there's a lot to be said on the fear of people selling and not knowing where they're going to go. And I think that that's an undercurrent of why we're not getting as much inventory as we are in years past. But Vivian, what is Arbor's policy if someone has a home to sell, and like your contingency requirements?
Yeah, so we give you 60 days to list your home. We give you 60 days to sell your home, 7 days to list. And basically, we are just working with you to make sure that you're able to qualify for both mortgages. I think that is also another thing that could be a better option as well, so that it gives you more time to sell your home. Otherwise, if you don't qualify for both, then that's kind of our policy, is the 60-day window to sell your home.
So to clarify, do you have, so in this market, homes are flying off the shelves. So when someone gets under contract with you, they have 60 days to sell. So then they would need to plan to rent somewhere temporarily?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. So all the more reason to plan ahead and talk with your sales professionals accordingly. Vivian, again, want to be sensitive to your time. Do you have any parting thoughts or just things that you really feel like need to be shared with consumers right now?
I know. I know it's just a really crazy time, and I totally feel for everyone out there that has fell in love with a home and lost multiple times. I can't imagine what that's like right now. And I think that building is just a really, really great option for those who have the ability to wait a little bit longer and get exactly what they want. And Arbor is just a really great company to work with. I think all of our sales managers are super friendly. They're super responsive. We have really great customer service scores as well. And we are all, working around the clock to make sure all of our clients are happy. So I think that speaks volumes, because we understand that, your house, this new house is like your baby, and if you have any concerns or questions or anything like that, we are just happy to help in any way.
Yes, I 100% agree. So what is the best way for people to get in contact with you, Vivian?
So Blake's is the main sales manager out of this community. You can reach out to myself or him through either online. Our information is posted there. And then I can also give you my information, Jessica, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who just wants to come by and take a look at the models, maybe check out some pricing and just see if this is a feasible option for you, we'd be more than happy to meet with you.
Excellent. And one last question. Why should a client work with a realtor when they're building a home?
So a realtor is a really great representative for you. I think that they help a ton when it comes to learning or when it comes to kind of letting you know what is really good for resale when you're building your home. So there's a lot of options that you can do to the house. And sometimes some things might be more of a personal option versus something that might actually help sell your house in the future. So it's been super beneficial to have realtors, come in and kind of help give that knowledge to clients, because not everyone knows, the difference between an 8-foot and a 9-foot ceiling and what that impact looks like when you're selling your house, or if you're looking at, the trying to pick out what options you could do away with to help with your budget. A lot of people don't need to have the flooring and the countertops and everything right when they move in. It's something that they could do after the fact. So I think really helpful at helping navigate that. They're also a good intermediary for any kind of conversations that need to be had, or any clarifications that need to be made. They're just a great support person too, to have at all of your meetings too, because they know, all the right questions to ask.
Yes. And I think one of the most common obstacles I hear is, we chose not to work with a realtor because we wanted to save money. Is that a true case, or what's
you're not impacted by working with a realtor. As long as the realtor is the one that brings you in to, as the procuring cause for our builds, then you're not impacted at all. Like, you're not going to lose any type of money for working with a realtor.
Yep. So procuring cause means that realtor needs to be with you for the first introduction, or make an introduction to you and the builder. And that can be as simple as because sometimes people drive through a community, and this is also pre-COVID, because a lot of times now it's appointment required to walk through a model home. But for the most part, if you're driving through a community, just text your realtor and say, hey, I'm here. I want to walk through this model, but I want to make sure that I have you as my representative. Here's the model home number. Can you please make sure that this sales rep knows that we're working together? Just something as simple as that helps protect that relationship. Because we try to be everywhere at the same time. That's just not always possible. Do you have any other tips or suggestions on that?
Nope. And we're definitely open for you to walk in anytime, any of our models. So we're open 12 to 7, Monday through Friday, 11 to 6 on Saturdays, and 12 to 6 on Sundays.
Well, perfect. Vivian, this has been an awesome interview. I hope you all have found this valuable. Please reach out to her. Her information is going to be posted below or above, depending on where this is posted. And I hope you all have a great day, and definitely check out Arbor Homes.
Thank you.